This Pokemon has been instrumental.
क्या बात है भाई, just start हुआ है भाई, just start हुआ है भाई.
Matchups actually switching in the Reggie Steel against this Medicham.
भाई साहब क्या मैच जा रहा है आज
going for a psychic as we've already established. Dancing
भाई
Rob does not
चेंज भी
have
बाद में
access to
करेंगे
power
भाई,
punch
छोड़ो
on
भाई,
his
छोड़ो
Medicham. Does a decent amount of damage, but these fighting type fast moves I think are more important and more valuable here. Godon Hada throwing the Zap Cannon will drop the attack of that Medicham.
It definitely slows this matchup down as these counters are dealing super effective damage, but the charge attacks are really a bit unreliable in terms of damage output. Maybe reaching for a double Ice Punch here? No, going straight for the Psychic, trying to secure a knockout on the Reggie Steel.
It's going to be close, waiting
फिर से
until
डिस्कॉर्ड
the
पे
last
नोटिफिकेशन
possible
वापस से
second to
वेलकम
throw
बैक
that
सबका.
Psychic and just barely
आ
misses
गया.
that
भाई फर्स्ट मैच
knockout.
है.
Reggie Steel throwing
मैं कह रहा था राघव वैसे ही होता है, 3 घंटे 25 मिनट के करीब स्ट्रीम बंद हो जाती है, पता नहीं था इतना लंबा चल जाएगा, क्योंकि अब डांसिंग रॉब जीता है लूजिंग ब्रैकेट से, अब वापस होगा. क्या हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है, 3 घंटे 25 मिनट चल रही है भाई. एंड दिस इज द फाइनल. लाइक मार दो स्ट्रीम को, लाइक मार दो भाई, एकदम खतरनाक.
Yeah, you gotta spend the energy if you have access to it, especially knowing that you're going to get.
क्योंकि डांसिंग रॉब जीता है लूजर ब्रैकेट से, उसको ये एक तरह से डिसएडवांटेज थी. अब वापस से 5 मैच का हो रहा है, ये फाइनल 5 है, ये ग्रैंड फिनाले है. पोकेमॉन फैन हाई.
Charge move, is it going to be an overheat, is it going to be a weather ball? The Stunfisk is able to hold on, but there's another one queued up ready to go.
I think you have to save the Stunfisk at this point. You have no, you actually do not save it. This Shadow Kanto Ninetales is too hot to handle. It's going to continue to apply pressure as the Alola Ninetales comes in here, and this is the matchup we saw in the lead. This is something Dancing Rob wanted to avoid.
Yeah, Godon Hada also still has access to both of his shields. Dancing Rob using his last shield to take the overheat from the Ninetales, but Godon Hada just immediately switching out that Ninetales. The Ninetales just gets knocked out, so that attack drop doesn't even matter.
And this is actually critical because we haven't seen the wall rain much from Godon Hada, but we do see it in the matchup here, delivering the Earthquake, securing the knockout here, and knocking that first win under his belt.
लिमिटेड टाइम यार, ये मेरे डिवाइस का इशू है, 3 घंटे 25 मिनट के ज्यादा चल नहीं पाती स्ट्रीम. 25 या 28 मैक्सिमम. अब चला रहे भाई, ऐसे नहीं यार. डांसिंग रॉब कितना ज्यादा खेला है, वो जीत के भी मैं सोच रहा था जीत गया कि नहीं. लूजर ब्रैकेट है, 5 और होंगे, अब इन 4 में से 3 जीतने हैं डांसिंग रॉब को. आई थिंक गोल्डन अड्डा जी जीत रहे हैं भाई. आई थिंक गोल्डन अड्डा जी जीत रहे हैं. हालांकि किंग ऐसे जीता था, 2 हारा था और एंड के 3 जीता था, यही वाले, पर ऐसा नहीं होगा. गलत भाई, गलत सीन भाई.
I think the best answers that we've seen to that Shadow Wall Rain are the Medicham and the Galarian Stunfisk, and Dancing Rob has brought those Pokemon again and again and again, and we see that Shadow Wall Rain coming out anyway.
दो सील से आ रहा है.
Good thing to note for Godon Hada, if you're able to keep that wall rain in
ऋषभ भाई कह रहे थे
possibly
आओ भाई यूट्यूब पे आओ. मैं कहा चलो भाई, आज ऋषभ भाई कह रहे हैं तो आ जाता हूँ. मैं तो डिस्कॉर्ड पे जा रहा था. अब ये स्ट्रीम हो जाएगी आधे 1 घंटे की, जितने भी है. फाइनल मैच है, जिसे भी फाइनल देखना इस स्ट्रीम पर आके देख लेना. सिर्फ फाइनल की स्ट्रीम है यार. फास्ट मैच पर कितने टेंशन वाला है फास्ट मैच.
I don't think we've seen too much of Dancing Rob's like.
ये सोचो लूजर ब्रैकेट पे था, इसलिए नहीं जीता. अगर वो विनर ब्रैकेट पे होता ना राघव भाई, वो वहीं पर चैंपियनशिप जीत जाता. 5 में से 3 जीत गया. वो इतने खतरनाक हुए हैं और अब वापस से डांसिंग रॉब को वापसी करनी है. कितना टेंशन हो भाई हमें, ये देखने में दिक्कत हो रही है. वो तो भाई खेल रहे हैं.
You start to notice, you know, the
Crazy
short-term
match,
memory banks, even if you will.
Let's go, thumbnail
start
update
to tell you
भाई.
what your opponent does, what your opponent favors. So if you're able to catch them off surprise, just a
thumbnail देख लो यार,
little
सही
bit, that
सही
can make all the difference. But we're ready to start this next set.
लेट्स गो. मैच स्टार्ट होता है, लीड ओपी मिलती हुई. भाई गोल्डन अड्डा जी जीत रहे हैं क्या ये?
This is a bit tough for Rob, but Lickitung will make this matchup close. Super effective lick damage coming through here on that Psychic type Medicham. It is whittling away at the HP, and again the charge attacks here are
Twitch पे इस टाइम वॉचिंग चलती हुई 21,000 क्रॉस हो गई है फाइनल मोमेंट पर भाई.
Strike first here.
It will connect, but this Medicham has power-up punch available
Medicham lead.
to it.
I think Dancing Rob अब पहले की तरह नहीं खेल रहा, तो यार अब उसका जितना मुश्किल लग रहा है.
But Godon Hada throwing the Psychic straight first.
This Psychic coming through here will warp a little bit of the space-time around that Lickitung, and we do see the Lickitung mirror switch in here, but a tremendous health advantage here on the side of Golden Hada, and we finally see the Galarian Stunfisk come out to meet it. This is an interesting play as well. Sending out that normal-type Pokemon typically pulls out a counter user like the Medicham, but Dancing Rob sending in the Stunfisk here.
I think that's okay. You know, if you go back to Game 5 of the set, the Galarian Stunfisk having a little bit of extra energy on it did make all the difference for Rob. And it does feel like it's pretty comfortably sitting on the field right now. Golden Hada not shielding the Earthquake, bringing that Lickitung down to half. You know, Rob does have time to try and make this Stunfisk work. And even though it is going to be trapped on the field, both these trainers do have two shields available to them, but Dancing Rob deciding to just take the Power Whip.
Yeah, I think Dancing Rob recognizing the Power Whip is not quite enough to knock out the Galarian Stunfisk. He can get to the Earthquake. One eye on the switch timers as well is not going to allow Golden Hada to jump out of that matchup. Instead, going to deliver an Earthquake here, which will knock out the Lickitung if it doesn't get shielded, and it does not.
Both these trainers are content with saving their shields until the absolute last possible moments. It looks like the switch timer also has reset for Dancing Rob and Golden Hada, who immediately takes advantage of it to send in Registeel to Dancing Rob's Medicham.
Dancing Rob looking to pound away here on the Steel type. Registeel actually reaching the charge priority, throwing the Psychic here. Medicham really would love a defense drop here to make this matchup more manageable.
The shield will stop the damage from that Psychic, and no defensive drop comes through. Golden Hada throwing a Zap Cannon will be blocked by the Protect, but also the attack drop will mean that these fighting type fast moves are dealing less damage to the Registeel overall, buying it just a couple seconds more of time.
Again, Registeel trying to manipulate the clock here, throwing another Zap Cannon here, but the Psychic will come through here first. Medicham is in a pivotal position, and it does deliver the Psychic. No Protect Shield used, but the Registeel still standing strong.
But there's the defensive drop right there, so if Medicham can find just a couple more seconds of damage against this Registeel, I guess overall with the second attack drop, maybe the equation still comes out to be the same, but that's more than enough time for this Medicham to win the matchup and then swap out and lose those attack drops overall.
As we see Golden Hada bring in the Medicham, and Lickitung pounces on the matchup. Is this a little bit risky though, because this Medicham might have an opportunity to counter it down?
Medicham in the red.
Okay, farm down, farm down.
To the absolute wire, and the Medicham is the one that gets knocked out
let's freaking go.
For Dancing Rob, he is the winner of this set. It just feels like back and forth for these trainers. We're now going to be entering the 8th game overall of this grand finals as the score is tied 1-1.
I mean, if you're looking for two trainers that were evenly matched, I don't think you need to look anywhere else besides center stage at London. These two trainers are neck and neck. As soon as you think one trainer has an advantage, the other one storms back. And both of these trainers are just out to prove why they deserve to be in this position, why they deserve to be the first ever champion.
And with gameplay as back and forth as it is playing out on the stage, you can conclude that both these trainers really truly would be formidable world champions, but there can only be one. And I feel like the tricks and the strategies and the gameplay, we're just starting to see these trainers get so much time practicing against each other. How do you keep yourself centered on your game plan and stop yourself from just out-predicting your opponent by like 3, 4, 5, 6 levels of mind games?
I was going to say these two trainers are going to get to know each other very well over the span of these two series. Maybe even choreograph a dance afterwards. Who knows? Dancing Rob in the name. I had to reach for that one there. But we're going to see what happens here as Golden Hada looks to deliver a win here in this game number 3 of the Grand Finals reset. A slight reminder to everyone watching at home, this is an interesting development because Dancing Rob has not only reset the bracket, but he is threatening the winner's side bracket champion, who is Golden Hada here. This is a best of 5, 3 wins on the board, spell victory.
Dancing Rob just really taking his time to think through this matchup.
पर
I
भाई
find
सही
it
में भाई
interesting
मैं
that
dancing
Gordon
rope की
as
भाई
well
दाद
has
देता
also
हूँ
been
यार।
consistently
बंदा
locking
कितना
in his
खेला
Pokemon
यार।
prior to Dancing
लूजर
Rob.
ब्रैकेट का ग्रैंड
Could just
फिनाले
be
खेल
that he's
लिया
maybe
यार,
a
ये
little
तरीका
bit more
गलत है यार।
comfortable
ने
going into
बहुत
these
ज्यादा
matchups
ही
and
ज्यादा
has
वो
that
करा
game
यार।
plan already queued up
ज्यादा
ready
मैच
to
खेले
go.
हैं बहुत ज्यादा।
Could also just be that Dancing Rob is taking this time to help center himself. You know, you have the opportunity to think here. You might as well use it, as every single second counts the second you start this game.
Yeah, I think every single moment, every single precious second, and if I could raise the stakes a bit, not just seconds, but half seconds, as we saw, that's all that Dancing Rob needed to reset this bracket, delivering that rock slide onto the Altaria. Again, the more games we play, the further away it feels, but this is very real. This is very real. That was just a few
Dancing Rob versus Gordon
Hadda to secure some more
Pokemon Go World Championship 2020 final
series. This is interesting in terms of adjustments.
Thumbnail
Both
change हो
these
चुका
trainers
है।
have shown a
विनर
lot
वाले
of
को वो
cards
चांस
at
मिलना
this
चाहिए
point
ना,
in the
क्योंकि वो
series. They
एक
both
भी
felt
नहीं
each
हारा।
other out through 8 games
नहीं,
here,
नहीं, नहीं, नहीं।
going on this 8th
विनर
match.
वाला
This is going to be very interesting to see if that Venusaur
चलो वो
makes
तो
an
एक
appearance,
चांस
if the
ऋतुराज भाई
Altaria
वैसे भी
shows up
मिलेगा
in the
ना।
team composition,
विनर वाले
how
को
these
क्या
trainers are
बोलते
going
हो?
to respond to each other, because
अगर
again,
वो हारा
at this point they know each other pretty well.
Dancing Rope से जैसे
Yeah,
वो
I
लड़ाई
also find
इंजन
it
तो उसे
really
मौका मिला।
interesting that we're seeing like
अच्छा उस तरह से कह रहे हो आप कि
consistently
उसको भी
different
मौका
Pokemon
मिलना
picks
चाहिए,
on
दोनों
each
को
side
मिलना
of
चाहिए।
the field. These trainers, it's not like we've reached
तो
a
फिर एक
point
तरह
where
से
they
देखो
feel
यार,
like, okay,
दो
this is
बार
my
मौका
best
मिला यार।
possible chance of winning this matchup.
सेमीफाइनल में
we're
भी मिला
constantly
Dancing
seeing
Rope को,
Pokemon
फिर
swap in
फाइनल में भी उसको
and
करना
pop
पड़ा।
out, and
फेयर है,
these
हाँ,
trainers
फेयर
make
है। मैं उस तरह से
adjustments
कह रहा
as
हूँ,
they're
नहीं
going along, which I
नहीं,
think
ये
also
चलो
is
फाइनल
a
फेयर
testament to
है,
how
बट एक तरह से
close this
Dancing Rope को देखो ना,
matchup
उसे
is. It's not like these
अपना
trainers have
लूजर्स
sat
राउंड
down
भी
and
जीतने के
cracked
बाद
the
भी
code and decided
जो
if I
सेमी
don't
हारा है
do
ना,
X,
उससे भी
Y, and
लड़ना है,
Z at this time
उससे भी
in this
जीतना है,
place, then
उसके
I
बाद
unfortunately
फाइनल
will
वाले
not
से भी जीतना
win
है,
this match.
और
It's
उसके बाद
still
फिर से
very
जीतना है।
much a tug of
अगर
war.
ऐसा हो कि भाई
This
डायरेक्ट जो
truly
लूजर्स
could be
ब्रैकेट वाला ग्रैंड
anybody's
फिनाले
game,
जाए,
anybody's set
थोड़ा
at
सा
this
वो अलग
point
हो
in
या
time.
जो भी हो,
And that's what's so fascinating
थोड़ा
about this
सा
series
उनके
as
लिए
it plays on.
हाँ
You might look
ये
at these
सही है
team
कि यार वो
compositions
लूजिंग
on
ब्रैकेट में थे
paper
तो वो
and
पीछे
say,
थे,
oh,
ये
there's
मैं
a
मानता
definite
हूँ,
advantage for the
पर
trainer
बहुत
on the
लेंथी
left.
नहीं हो गया
There's a
ऋतुराज भाई,
definite
या तो इनको अगले दिन
disadvantage for the
करना
trainer
चाहिए था,
on the
चलो
right. And we
वो
thought
ठीक है,
that we
अगले
saw
दिन
that
करना
going
चाहिए था
in
इन्हें
early,
यार।
especially for that
या
Shadow
तो
Venusaur.
ग्रैंड फिनाले के
So
10
many
मैच हो गए।
obstacles for it succeeding due to that team composition from our trainer on the left. But it's so tough, right? Because sometimes you can just bring neutral Pokemon and you can really show your skill ceiling, maximize all your opportunities, and take your best
थोड़ा
shot
वैसे
at your
stress भी
opponent,
होता है ना।
and it works out. And we've seen a lot of neutral play, a lot of feeling through the matchups as the series has continued. And like you said, it's not only a physical tug of war in terms of the Pokemon battling, it's a mental tug of war. This is a test of endurance, and the first trainer that blinks is going to be the one that falls.
Yeah, we were at mile 26. Now I think we're at mile 26.1. You know, you can see that finish line in the distance, and you're just so close. You just have this last hurdle to go. And I can't help but wonder if one of these trainers is just going to take off sprinting, you know, try and make a big read, try to make a big prediction, as opposed to playing this mental tug of war game after game after game.
या
try
थक
to
गया
give
वो जल्दी
themselves
मैच
the
कराओगे,
advantage.
वही
And
तो सोचो उनका क्या हाल हुआ होगा
hypothetically
ऋतुराज
speaking, if
भाई,
one
मैं
of
वही
these
बोल रहा
trainers
हूँ।
does decide to go for
मतलब
the
जो लूजर्स
breakout
ब्रैकेट है उसकी
strategy,
तो भाई
if you
ऐसी तैसी
will,
कर दो
that's going to
भाई।
be such
सोचो
a
कितना मैच
interesting
खेला
thing
यार
to
वो,
watch play out, as it will
वो
be
जो
most
जीतने वालों
likely
से
very polarizing.
उससे
I just
कम
want
से
to
कम
mention
भाई
as
वो
well, it's
10
continuing
15
with
मैच
your
ज्यादा
running
खेला है,
analogy.
क्योंकि ऐसा
For
नहीं है वो
example,
खाली
let's say there's a rock in
सेमीफाइनल
the
और
road
फाइनल
and
में
you
खेला है
trip.
10
Maybe
ज्यादा,
that trip is in
नीचे
the
भी
form
खेला है
of
वो
just
एक्स्ट्रा।
one turn late on a switch, maybe one wrong read on what your opponent might have in the back of their lineup. That is one stumble, one fall. That's all it takes for your opponent to just run off into the distance and put them over your shoulder.
I can't imagine what's going through these trainers' minds right now as well. Like I said, there's so much to keep track of. You know, I think it's great that I see some pens and paper, I think, on the desk down there, and I know that I've been taking notes. But it's so important to try and manage all this information and keep it just available and ready to go. This is it. I mean, we keep talking about it, but it's true. This is it. This is the moment that could define whether or not you're a world champion. And regardless of what happens, I gotta say, both these trainers have played so well consistently throughout the tournament, consistently throughout this grand final set.
मन तो ऐसा कर रहा है ऋतुराज भाई, जाके नहाऊं
It's
पहले यार,
an
सही बताऊं,
absolute
नहाने
pleasure
का
to
जी कर रहा है,
watch them
इतनी गर्मी
play
लग रही है
right
ना।
now. I just
AC
want to
room में
know,
setup कराना पड़ेगा, इधर
what's
AC लगाना
going
पड़ेगा यार।
on? What are they thinking about? I almost wish that we had a little bit of a telepathy user here with us who could just give us a bit of an insight, you know?
I wish that as well. It'd be fascinating to see into the minds of these battlers. But then again, you just see through their actions as well. You see a lot of strategy play out, a lot of layers here to each of the techniques that they try to deploy throughout this tournament. But I want to take a second as well, Gabby, and just talk about the other competitors that have been here on the world stage. Everyone has so much to be proud of
मेरे को तो
for
कॉलेज से
being here at the
आके
World Championships. Only
नाना
roughly
या
30
नहीं।
trainers qualified to be
अच्छा,
here
नहीं।
out of the
कोई नहीं
entire
यार,
world.
फाइनल है, चलो
Pokemon Go
ऋतुराज,
players.
कोई दिक्कत
That
नहीं है।
means something. That's
फाइनल के लिए
something
थोड़े
you
हमने
can
भी
carry into
कर
the
दी
next
स्ट्रीम
season
एक्स्ट्रा,
with
आधे
momentum,
घंटे भी
with
खिंच
pride
जाएगी।
in your hearts, no matter where you finish. I
हमारी
think
टोटल
that's
स्ट्रीम हो
very,
गई
very
है
impressive,
वॉच
and no one
पार्टी
can
1
ever
2
take that
3
away from you.
4
Yeah, something subtle that you may have noticed
ये
in our
छठी
Worlds
स्ट्रीम हो गई भाई,
recap
3
video
दिन में
that
6
we showed,
स्ट्रीम
quite
ऋतुराज
frankly,
भाई।
what feels like ages ago at the beginning of
गलत
this
हुआ है।
set was that all the competitors here this weekend are given a welcome bag that has some really cool Pokemon merchandise in it that's made especially to celebrate the fact that you qualified for the Pokemon World Championships. And that is no small feat. Many of these trainers had to either finish in the top 2 or top 4 of incredibly difficult tournaments to qualify here today. And we even saw a couple of trainers who had to, quite frankly, win an entire bracket of the last chance qualifier in order to move on to this day of competition. So even though we are down to the final 2, every single person who competed here this weekend, whether you competed in the LCQ, the last chance qualifier, whether you competed in day 1, day 2 of Worlds, truly has an incredible accomplishment to celebrate. And there's only more waiting in store. If you are watching this right now at home, and again, you think that you could be Goran Hara or Dancing Rob down there on the stage trying to figure out how to become the next Pokemon Go World Champion, check out Pokemon.com/play.
चलो ठीक है, जो मतलब फाइनल मान लो फाइनल जीता था 9 टेल्स, तो सब बड़ी बना लेना 9 टेल्स और उसका नाम रख देंगे, ऐसा करें? क्या बोलती पब्लिक?
Amazing moments that we get to celebrate.
I want to make one point, and then I have one question.
उसी पोकेमॉन को रखते हैं जो फाइनल में रहेगा ना जिंदा, जिससे वो
you can
जीतेगा।
participate in multiple regional competitions. Maybe you don't have your best showing in a regional competition. Maybe it's your first time going up there battling other trainers face to face. Maybe your only exposure is in the Go Battle League.
पर यार
That's
कोई गलत
perfectly
तरह से ना
fine.
ले
There's
ले
definitely
कि
a
भाई
degree
जो
of
जीता है उसको तो भाई
acclimation that
बड़ी
goes
रख
on
रखा है,
here
उस तरह
as
से
these
गलत ना
trainers
ले ले
try
यार।
to feel their way through the
राघव भाई।
stage, through the atmosphere, through the pressure. And again, wherever you are battling, maybe it's on your couch at home, maybe it's at a local tournament in a grassroots circuit, it has a different feel, a different vibe. There's a lot of energy that you have to kind of, I guess, guide yourself through. And I think that giving yourself multiple opportunities to compete is key to acclimating again to those circumstances. So again, you can participate in as many of these regional competitions as you want, and sometimes it takes more than one try to get it right. But hey, if you do and you get to Worlds,
वो तो बहुत कुछ कर लेगा ऋषभ भाई, वो आईडी बैन करा देगा, सही में मजाक नहीं कर रहा हूँ। छोटी-छोटी चीजों बहुत फर्क पड़ता है, करेगा नहीं वो, पर वो चाहे तो ऐसा कर सकता है। भाई मेरे नाम का ये वो कर रहे हैं, हेट फैला रहे हैं, ये सब वो सब।
Who do you think would take the win there?
Oh, that's interesting because the
mental
first
health को
thing
बाहर
I
बहुत
think of
ज़्यादा
is that
importance दी
Caleb
जाती है
would be
इंडिया में
running
नहीं।
Bastiodon, as that's his signature Pokemon, and I
मैं
would
तो जो
hope
lose
that
करेगा उसको
Steven or
उसके Pokemon को
Butters
बड़ी
would
बनाऊंगा।
recognize that that Pokemon is making an appearance. I think that something that some people do is that, let's say their favorite Pokemon is Blastoise. They qualify for the World Championships. They don't care how they're doing. They're running Blastoise. And quite frankly, Caleb is probably good enough to make it to the finals with a Bastiodon, regardless of what the metagame looks like. So if Butters decided to go for the hard counter into Caleb, expecting the Bastiodon, I think he would take it. But it could be mixed up. I think we should try and line up some caster battles in the future. But for now, I think we should finally get back to the stage, as it looks like these trainers are ready to go. The time for thinking is over. It is time to go into battle and take on the person blocking you from the title of World Champion. Again, this is Dancing Rob, this is Goran Hara. They are tied 1-1 in this grand finals bracket reset. Both of these trainers are currently 2 wins away from becoming the first ever
फाइनल के आखिरी 3 मैच है रुद्र भाई, और ये मैच नहीं देखे तो कुछ नहीं देगा।
Rooting for in chat. Are you rooting for Dancing Rob? Are you rooting for Goran Hara? Are you rooting for Turtwig, Altaria, Venusaur? Let us know in the chat, as this is it. This is that moment.
And we need to seize the opportunity here. We have 2 trainers. There is no next opponent. There's only this opponent and this moment. And in this moment, our trainers are locked in and ready to fly down to that stage as we are ready for game number 3.
क्योंकि ऋतुराज भाई आप ये देखो, इस टूर्नामेंट में डांसिंग रॉब भी नहीं आ रहा यार।
will become a champion, and
उस तरह से देखो, और रीजनल में नहीं जीत पाया, वो उसके डिसएडवांटेज है।
Both of our trainers have locked in their screens here. We might see a flip over in just a moment, or maybe just a quick refresh here as we get things queued up.
Yeah, you gotta make sure
ये 2 फाइनल है, नहीं भाई 3। हाँ, अब 2 जो पहले जीत गया तो 2 ही। 20K watching cross.
You gotta keep things fresh, and unfortunately for us, that will mean we'll have to wait a couple more moments. But hey, if you're at home thinking to yourself, man, I should have gotten up and gotten some more water or gotten some popcorn, run. You have time, but you need to make that sprint of the last marathon mile, because if you are too slow, you may miss us crowning the first ever world champion here.
I just want to mention as well, all of the love and support that we've seen on social media is so incredible. All of the hashtag Pokemon Worlds hype, all of the Pokemon Go hype as well. It's so heartwarming to see everyone supporting their favorite trainers and just excited for this event. The viewership has been incredible. The interaction from the chats have been incredible. Thank you so much for supporting this competition, because this is just the dawn of a new age for competitive Pokemon Go. And we're making history today. These trainers are going to refresh their applications, but I promise you we will get into these battles here shortly. I will say, Two Butters does favor Shadow Charizard, and that Pokemon really struggles against the Bastiodon as well. So if he picks one of his favorites and Caleb picks one of his own favorites, it's going to be a little bit uphill. But Pokemon like Swampert, like Whiscash can also provide a lot of problems for a Bastiodon team. So maybe he pivots more to a water and ground type Pokemon.
I don't know. It's, again, you're at the World Championships. Do you decide to run something that you think will absolutely destroy your opponent, especially knowing who your opponent is? Or do you just run with your favorite Pokemon? I think having been in that situation, I decided to make more of a meta play, but I tried to make my favorite Pokemon work. It was a Mega Metagross, which we don't have in the metagame quite yet for Pokemon Go, but still, that's enough talking about the old times. Let's go ahead back into the current time as these trainers are finally ready to go. This is going to be Game 3 of the Grand Finals, and it's Altaria versus the Galarian Stunfisk.
This is essentially a best of 3. Both of these battlers are tied up here, so the Lickitung counter-swap into the Medichip. So much happened there, and I'll try to slow things down for us, but this Lickitung is applying a lot of pressure as we see the Body Slam come through here, and it will not receive a Protect Shield.
Again, Dancing Rob's Medicham only has access to Ice Punch and Psychic. It's not running Power Up Punch, and as a result is really forced to throw these Psychics against the Lickitung. But Golden Hada not saving those shields for later like we've seen him do in previous games, just goes for it immediately to block the Psychic.
No defense drop was triggered there, but the Psychic is Protect Shielded, applying a lot of pressure still with the counters. But look at that Medichip's HP. This Body Slam will definitely knock it out.
Grand finale.
He lets it go. He decides to save the shields for later. Medicham goes down, but this gives the opportunity for that Galarian Stunfisk to come on right back in and get to that key Earthquake we saw it use earlier on in the set.
Looking forward with these teams on the screen, I think alignment is absolutely critical, and it looks like Dancing Rob is controlling that alignment thus far. He might have a favorable matchup down the stretch, but he's got to get through the Lickitung first, and this Rock Slide, I think, will be enough to knock it out.
It's going to be close. It connects and it finds the KO. Golden Hada down to his final 2 Pokemon. It's an Altaria and a Medicham. But
भाई अगर Medicham खत्म हुआ ना तो Altaria कहाँ जाएगा पता नहीं चलेगा भाई.
Galarian Stunfisk goes for the Earthquake first, but Golden Hada doesn't shield it.
भाई साहब 4 मरे.
Using a Protect Shield here, maybe recognizing something dangerous is in the back, and here it comes. We're in the danger zone as the Alola Ninetales hits the field against the Medicham.
That Medicham tries to go for a charged move, but just
Altaria versus Ninetales. Throw नहीं करना चाहिए था शायद. Throw नहीं करना चाहिए था.
Powerful move, and Golden Hada not even shielding the Weather Ball from this Alolan Ninetales as
और वो समझ चुका है. It is over. कुछ भी नहीं कर सकता. Dancing Rob going 1-2.
The Alola Ninetales was inevitable.
Only 1 win away. Dancing Rob. नहीं वो समझ गया था. उसे क्या पता था Ninetales Alola ले वाला 4 बार ओपी. 4 बार ग्रैंड फिनाले जिताएगा यार.
Gabby, this is what happens when you don't bring the Shadow Kanto Ninetales. When there is no Reggie Steel on the opposing side of the field, that Alola Ninetales is so dangerous.
And I have to wonder if Golden Hada is going to make that same mistake twice. I think Dancing Rob just made a fantastic call, again, at Team Preview, recognizing that Golden Hada either wouldn't bring that Reggie Steel or between the Galarian Stunfisk and the Medicham had enough offense to scare that Reggie Steel away. Now that Dancing Rob is 1 win away from becoming the first ever world champion in Pokemon Go, I wonder, does
Charming.
Godon Hada take that risk a second
I
time?
think अब ये गोल्डन अड्डा जीतेगा फिर से फाइनल में जाएगा फाइनल में नहीं जाना चाहिए यार पिछले में बहुत बुरा हाल हो गया था जब वो फाइनल पे इतना क्लोज गया था यार
and I think we have a second lock in. This could be a pivotal matchup here as our two trainers go at it yet again.
Altaria on the field for Godon Hada, and Swampert is the lead for Dancing Rob, and Dancing Rob immediately trying to switch in the Medicham of all Pokemon against this Altaria.
This is actually a team composition that we've seen Dancing Rob carry on before. He knows that he will lose the
भाई मेरे हिसाब से
here against the Altaria.
किंग का क्या हुआ
किंग दो टैक्टिकल but the Ice Punch does deal some significant damage, super effective damage, and then we see the Altaria.
और उनके मैच में नहीं दिखे पता नहीं इतने सारे मैच थे कुछ आधे मैच ही नहीं दिखे लोग कब कौन बाहर हुआ कुछ
that
पता
Altaria throwing the Sky Attack 1 split second before the Ice Punch was available to the Medicham. Dancing Rob using the first shield to keep that Pokemon safe. Does get to the Ice Punch here, but Godon Hada has more than enough time to go for that Protect Shield.
This is definitely a key moment of the matchup. Both of these trainers struggling to try to win switch advantage here as the Altaria's Dragon Breaths are piling on and reaching again for the Sky Attack just before the Ice Punch is queued up. Can Medicham
देख रहे हो हमेशा
not Sky Attack will secure the knockout.
Dancing Rob would have had to go for that shield there, but having no shield with the Swampert and the Alolan Ninetales against this Altaria could be very dangerous as Swampert swaps onto the field for the Alolan Ninetales, trying to farm that Altaria and get the knockout. But Altaria just throwing that Sky Attack and forcing Rob to use his last shield.
Now here comes the Lickitung. This is why alignment is so key as that water and ground type Pokemon squares off against the Lickitung with that incredible coverage attack of Power Whip. We do see the first Hydro Candy coming through. Again, Lickitung able to withstand a lot of punishment and it absolutely absorbs that first Hydro Cannon. Actually throwing a charge with priority. Great counting there by Dancing Rob.
Yeah, both of these trainers are truly bringing their A game to this grand finals as the Hydro Cannon
Dancing Rob अगर तीसरा मैच जीता salute है भाई बंदे को.
But Lickitung able to connect a Power Whip against that Shadow Swampert. You know that's going to be a knockout.
It definitely does knock out the Shadow Swampert. Here comes the Alolan Ninetales, and guess what? We are back where we started. We have a Shadow Kanto Ninetales waiting in the wings to come out here and face off against the Alolan Ninetales, and here it is.
The Shadow Kanto Ninetales also having the shield advantage in this matchup, and all it will take is one weather ball to tie the set up once again. 2 wins for Godon Hada, 2 wins for Dancing Rob. We are literally, finally, 1 game away from crowning.
And it is the time for the final of final, grand final के grand final का भी final है भाई. Grand finale का भी final है भाई.
Goodness, this is so incredible to watch. From that last half-second rock slide to reset the bracket from Dancing Rob to this pivotal moment. I think in the last game we saw, not this current one, but the previous, maybe 2 games ago, if I may say, we saw Dancing Rob kind of just dominate the matchup. The no Protect Shield on that Weather Ball from Alolan Ninetales from Godon Hada, just submitting the defeat, and then we see a return here.
कितने फाइनल से लास्ट मैच राघव भाई जो जीता वही सिकंदर और जो हारा उसे सेकंड पोजीशन भाई रनर अप.
And I can't imagine just the
आखिर तक जा रहा है भाई क्या हो रहा है धक-धक हो रहा है. सोचो उसका क्या हो रहा है डेंसिंग रॉब का बैक टू बैक फाइनल में पहुंच गया वो. और मेरे को लगता है ये भी एकदम ऐसा ना हो जाए एंड में सीएमपी पे ना आ जाए.
of this matchup, and it just comes down to confidence and predictions and the mind games. There is no guaranteed strategy for both of these trainers to follow to get to that world champion title. They have to take every single second to think their strategy through, to remember the 9 games that preceded this one, and figure out what their opponent is going to do, what strategy, what Pokemon are they going to bring, and how can I be 1 step ahead to win the title.
Like we talked about yesterday, there are essentially 2 voices going on in each of these trainers' head. The first voice says, this is your only chance. You may never sit in the seat ever again at the World Championships. And the other voice says, this is my moment. This is my opportunity. I'm going to seize this championship, this victory, this glory. This is it. This is my time to become the first champion. And we are queued up here for a decisive game number 5.
Altaria takes the field against the Galarian Galarian Stunfisk
लीड
from
ठीक
Dancing
मिली है,
Rob,
फाइनली
and you
थोड़ी
see
ठीक
him
लीड मिली
pump
है
his fist
रोड
in
को
victory. The Galarian Stunfisk loves
एंड
this matchup.
मेडिचैम
Both these trainers
मीट्स
again swapping.
द
Now it's
लिकिटंग,
the
तालियां
Lickitung
बजने की
versus the
आवाज आ रही है,
Medicham.
अभी भी
And we've seen
पक्का
this
नहीं है
play out a
पीछे
few
क्या
times
हो
before.
सकता है.
Lickitung going to apply some pressure here with the body slam. The question is, which one of these trainers is going to change the script? Which one is going to
और भाई
find
पीछे
that
देखो
unique
देखो
win
ये देखो,
condition?
अगर 9 टेल्स वर्सेस अलोला 9 टेल्स होगा तो भी खतरा है. नहीं नहीं लीड नहीं बताएगा आई थिंक, क्योंकि 9 टेल्स है, 9 टेल्स है उधर मेरे हिसाब से नहीं.
Not wanting to take any additional damage as these fast moves are starting to add up. Will outpace the Medicham to the body slam and waits until that last possible second to throw, and Dancing Rob just conceding this matchup, letting the Medicham go, not investing any more shields.
बहुत खतरनाक है. आई थिंक अभी तो गोल्डन अड्डा जी पे एडवांटेज है, क्योंकि वो 9 टेल्स को अलोला 9 टेल्स पे लगा देंगे
and again and deny his opponent their own charge attacks. We do see the power whip getting queued up here as well. This Galarian Stunfisk can very comfortably absorb this attack, and the rock slide might be enough to KO as well. But how much energy does Dancing Rob want to gather first?
I think he wants to gather as much energy as possible, getting to a second rock slide. Does throw the first one for the knockout on the Lickitung, but look at the targets for the second. There's the Altaria and that Shadow Kanto Ninetales in the back of Gotenhada's party. If this Galarian Stunfisk
ये यहाँ पे आई थिंक यहाँ पे थोड़ा डांसिंग रोब को फायदा हो गया है. डांसिंग रोब अब शायद फायदे में आ गया है यार मेरे हिसाब से.
The rock slide come through here, the protect shield gets forced.
ये थोड़ा सा गलत मूव हो सकता है भाई.
Can Shadow Ninetales carry Gotenhada to victory or not?
It will not take damage, and it will be followed up by a second rock slide, and there are no more protect shields remaining for Gotenhada. Has the weather ball ready, but it's a switch, and now the Alolan Ninetales is out on the field. Once again, it's a Ninetales versus Ninetales showdown, and the weather ball is
the history is about to.
Dancing Rob blocks it with a shield.
We do see that
Return on that Pokemon Go
and
shield.
KO that Shadow Kanto Ninetales. Altaria
भाई इस ट्रॉफी पे डांसिंग रोब आने वाला है भाई.
Deliver victory for its trainer.
That weather ball will connect and
Let's
pick
go.
up some major damage against this
And Dancing Rob with that charmer wins the world championship. भाई साहब, let's go. Dancing Rob भाई साहब.
in the Masters division.
ओ भाई.
This is where legends
Dancing Rob भाई बेहतरीन.
Pokemon Go World Champion is
ओ भाई बहुत तगड़ा खेला यार बंदा. Let's go Dancing Rob.
And it is a beautiful
Pokemon Go World Champion. भाई गिर मत जाइए भाई, पिछली बार जैसे भाई कोई गिर गया था. Good night ऋतुराज भाई. भाई do like the stream if you enjoyed it भाई. Dancing Rob एक्शन के लिए बुरा लगा भाई, बहुत अच्छा Dancing Rob जीत गया. हाँ अरे काफी लोगों को बुरा लग रहा है, बट ये कहाँ से आया. ग्रैंड फिनाले जीत, पहले सेमीफाइनल का भी वो जीता, लूजर्स ब्रैकेट, फिर विनर्स ब्रैकेट, फिर ग्रैंड फिनाले वो भी 2-2 करके, और फिर ग्रैंड फिनाले का विनर्स ब्रैकेट 2-2 करके वापस से.
Both these trainers should be very proud of their accomplishments here
I
today.
think अगर वहाँ पे वो बोलिया था ना अल्टारिया,
champions today, but unfortunately only one could walk away as that first ever Pokemon Go World Champion. I mean, how close
Good night,
were those series?
bye,
How close were those
and from
matchups?
this time,
Dancing Rob made it interesting
Dancing
for all of us,
Rob
right?
पूरे
Oh
साल
yeah, I think he definitely kept
वो
all of
emote
us
लेके
on
नाचेगा.
our toes on the edge of
बैक टू बैक टू बैक जीतता हुआ है यार वो पूरे
incredible
टूर्नामेंट में.
finale
इस वर्ल्ड से
to
मैं
a
एक बार भी नहीं आ रहा यार वो.
incredible weekend for Pokemon Go again here at the
Dancing
World
Rob,
Championship.
the world champion.
First ever World Championships. I know we've said that so many times before, but for trainers that have been gathering their Pokemon, catching their Pokemon out in the wild, playing all of the Community Day events, playing the Spotlight
Canton
Hours,
Ninetales के
doing
अंदर
their
2
weekly
Pokemon है
research
bro.
breakthrough, participating in raid hours and going out with their friends and
करो,
enjoying all these
Ninetales.
opportunities, they've asked themselves quietly for years, what is next?
क्या
What is
बोलते हो?
that next challenge? I want to be the
वहाँ पे
very
अगर
best,
अल्टारिया आ
but
जाता
no
कैसे
one
तैसे
ever
उसको लो
was,
कर देता,
and today Dancing Rob
हो
is
सकता
that
था
trainer.
Yeah,
चेंज करो
what an
9 टेल्स को बड़ी
incredible
बनाओ भाई.
accomplishment for Dancing Rob, and I can't
चलो भाई
wait
हो
to
जाए.
hear his thoughts
भाई
about
चैट में जो
that
बंदे हैं,
matchup, because what an incredibly
अभी वॉचिंग
close
चल रही है, 21,000
matchup.
कुछ
I
चल
mean, the
रही है.
mind games must have been absolutely off the chart.
अभी इनका इंटरव्यू आएगा, इनका इंटरव्यू भी आएगा अभी, ध्यान रखना. इंटरव्यू देखेंगे डांसिंग रॉब का भाई फुल. राजदीप भाई ओ भाई, डांसिंग रॉब इज द चैंपियन. राजदीप भाई नाइन टेल्स को बड़ी बनाते हैं, नाइन टेल्स को बड़ी बनाते हैं भाई। एक ही है मेरे पे यार। भाई 4 मरने ही जिताया है भाई, 4 मरने ही जिताया है। ओ भाई डन भाई, चलो देखते हैं उसका इंटरव्यू। गजब कर दिया बंदे ने यार, ये तो सीजन शुरू होने के 1 महीने में ही लेजेंड पहुंच जाता होगा पक्का यार, ये पहुंच जाते होंगे यार। हमने मिस कर दिया।
Yeah, that was when the stress started to go down.
हमने मिस कर दिया, पूरा ही मिस कर दिया। फिर से देख लेते हैं, चलो।
Is there anyone that you want to say thank you?
Larian Stunfisk gets to the rock side on Mile, because if you are too slow, you may miss
Charizard. And
in that situation.
इसका इंटरव्यू देखते हैं।
It connects and it finds the KO.
both of these trainers
हो जाए यार जल्दी।
voices going on.
Move of choice for this Medicham, and the Lickitung going for an
Watching you and saying, wow, that's the first
challenge. I want to be the
these trainers, and to just be able to dive, so cool to get that in
chat and in the stadium.
ये लेट्स गो, यहाँ से देखते हैं फिर बंद करते हैं। चलो भाई,
How does it
मैं भी
feel
कर
to
लेता हूँ,
hear
कर लो
that,
भाई।
that you're the
Nine tails
first
बड़े बना लो।
Pokemon Go world champion?
Well, I still I really can't believe it like right now. I'm still stressed, nervous, all of these emotions are just coming out, and I came here in the losers bracket all day and like had my chances of winning felt like 0, but I managed to win it all, which is crazy.
Yeah, through a 10-game series, how was it mentally doing that?
Stressful?
Yeah. When do you think you figured out that you had it, that you were going to win?
Like, I knew the Kanan was in their back, so when I threw the last rock slide, I think I knew I had it because it felt like I could charm that Kanan down, and yeah, that was when the stress started to go down, but it's not gone yet.
I'm sure you won't calm down for quite some time, and there's a lot of people out here who are cheering for you and want to celebrate. Is there anyone that you want to say thank you or hello to?
First of all, I want to say thank you to Thor Tactical, who's like my best training partner, the only one I had for the World Championships, and to my good friend Aerosol.
Thor Tactical!
Convinced me about the Venusaur pick, which kind of helped in most of the matchups. I want to say thank you to my friends Ilya, Leandro, and all the others, Stone Collection, Kevin, all the others who. So I for sure forgot someone, but yeah.
There are also a lot of people that maybe you don't know that are watching you and saying, wow, that's the first champion, I want to play just like them. What advice would you give those people?
It's never too late to start. Like, I started only in 2019, and like end of 2019 with PvP. The game was out in 2016, but I still managed to get here, and that's like crazy. Like, it's never too late, and you can all be the next champion if you try.
Absolutely, that's great advice. Thank you. Let's hear it one more time for our champion, and we'll head back to you, casters.
And the crowd goes absolutely wild for their first ever Pokemon Go World Champion. And what an incredible interview that was. I didn't know that Dancing Rob didn't start playing until
राइज का क्या हुआ? राइज अपना किंग सब डिस्क्वालीफाई हो गए थे, और इतने सारे मैच थे ना कि लूजिंग ब्रैकेट वाले दिखाई नहीं गए। एक तरह से लूजिंग ब्रैकेट वाले दिखाई नहीं गए यार। हाँ, और इसके ज़्यादा इसलिए दिखाए गए क्योंकि ये विनर्स वालों को हराता रहा, तो विनर्स वालों को मैच दिखाने थे तो भाई डांसिंग रोप को दिखाते रहे, और ये जीतता रहा जीतता रहा जीतता रहा और जीतते जीतते निकाल दिया भाई इसने।
29
tournament reversible. You can't possibly get to your end goal, but you have to focus on just one step at a time. For example, if you want to drive cross country, you can only see about 100 feet in front of you with your headlights at night, and that's all you need to see in order to traverse any kind of distance to reach a regional tournament, hopefully near you, right?
I would hope so. I mean, they're scattered all across the country and all across the world, and now is the perfect time to go to Pokemon.com/play and check out if there will be a regional championship.
Thank you so much for watching. Abhi stream band kar rahe.
You know, the website went live with that information over the weekend.
Usne message kiya hai.
We were all so excited to see it come up. I don't know about you, but I'm itching to compete a little bit after seeing such an exciting grand finals here. It's very inspiring to imagine. Like, hey, I mean, I don't think that's going to be me up there. Let's be real next year, but it could be. It could be.
You never know. I mean,
you never know.
Do you think Dancing Rob walked in today and he said, "I'm the champion. I'm going to be the one that wins it all"? Probably not, right?
Probably not. I mean, again, it was such an impossible run for him all the way through the losers bracket, starting at the beginning of the day.
Exactly, and I think you have to have a certain degree of confidence as a trainer. You have to trust in your Pokemon, and some trainers, maybe they just know they're destined for greatness, but greatness was definitely established here.
भाई लूजर्स ब्रैकेट से बंदे ने जो पलटा है ना भाई, वरना कोई प्लान नहीं था चैंपियनशिप देखने का। रे रुद्र भाई, अपन ने भी यार ज़्यादा कर लिया और फाइनल देख लिया आपने, और आप ये जो 5 जीते हैं ना, आपने इनसे पहले के मिस कर दिए। पिछली स्ट्रीम के लास्ट के 5 मैच देखना, क्या ही सीन था भाई। मैं बताऊँ, पिछले स्ट्रीम के जो एंड के 5 मैच थे उसमें ना 2-2 ड्रॉ हो गया था। ऐसा था, ये लूजर्स ब्रैकेट से था और गोल्डन अड्डा से ही मैच था, तो 2-2 जीत चुके थे दोनों। अगर उस टाइम पे 5वां मैच गोल्डन अड्डा जीत जाते तो 3-2 से वो चैंपियनशिप ले जाते। पर क्योंकि वहाँ पर भी उस ग्रैंड फिनाले में भी, उस मैच में भी क्योंकि डांसिंग रोप जीत गया, तो भाई एक तरह से वो भी लूजर ब्रैकेट में आ गया। उसके बाद फिर से 5 मैच हुए थे, जो ग्रैंड फिनाले का भी ग्रैंड फिनाले था, यानी ये इससे पहले भी इन दोनों का ही हुआ था। समझ रहे हो रुद्र भाई, डांसिंग रोप और ये गोल्डन अड्डा। पर अगर वो 3 जीत जाता, वो जीत जाता, क्योंकि वो विनर्स ब्रैकेट का था, वो हारा, इसलिए भाई वापस से वो भी लूजर ब्रैकेट में आया और लूजर ब्रैकेट का ग्रैंड फिनाले हुआ। उसके बाद वापस से 2-2 हुआ और वापस से फाइनल का ये जीता भाई डांसिंग रोप। मजा आया भाई। ओपीआर मेरी सारी बैटरी लोगी, एयरपोर्ट डाउन, दोनों मोबाइल डाउन, तीनों मोबाइल डाउन हो गया भाई। चलो भाई, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग। मिलते हैं, क्योंकि यार पास अभी लैपटॉप नहीं है। मिलते हैं यार, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग। अगर करना है तो रुद्र भाई 9 टेल्स लगा लेना, अलोलन 9 टेल्स को अपना बडी बना लो यार। चैट में जो भी है लिख दो कि क्या, हाँ डांसिंग रोब ओपी, ऐसे करते हैं, ठीक है। अपने आईडी पे बना देना यार बेस्ट बडीज को यार। मैं बंद करता हूँ स्ट्रीम, एंड थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग यार। मिलते हैं, शॉर्ट वगैरह डालेंगे जल्दी। एंड रुद्र भाई आप हो ना डिस्कॉर्ड पे? हाँ सही है भाई, डिस्कॉर्ड आया ना। और मतलब एक तरह से ग्रैंड फिनाले में भी 10 में से 6 मैच जीता यार ये, तो जब जाके जीता है। मज़ा आया यार, सब दोनों ही बढ़िया खेले, बट लीड से बहुत फर्क पड़ जाता है। उफ, 3 दिन 6 स्ट्रीम यार, क्रेजी भाई। लाइक कर देना यार जिसने नहीं करी है, ये आधे घंटे का पड़ा रहेगा, वापस से जो देखना चाहे देख लेना भाई। बाय, हैव अ नाइस डे। कल वाला जो भी है।